Police brutalities are a touchy subject in the African American community. You have people on one side and some on the other. And when it comes to those things, sometimes I just stay away from those topics because it could divide the community. But in the case of what's going on in Chicago with Dexter Reed, I would like to have a few things to say. Now, about the case in particular, we know he was shot, or at least there was 96 bullets shot at the young man. I'm not gonna get into who was right or who was wrong on it because that's not the case for today's subject. I want to focus on who did weigh in on it. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. And when the police brutality body cam footage came out, the mayor took to the podium to say this.
As mayor and as a father raising a family, including 2 black boys on the west side of Chicago, I am personally devastated to see yet another young black man lose his life during an interaction with the police. When someone is shot and killed by police in our city, my administration will lead with transparency. Attempts to withhold or delay information are mistakes of the past, and we have already taken concrete steps to start a full investigation into this case.
Brandon. Now that is low. For you to use the death of a young black man, Dexter Reed, to push your blackity black narrative is something that is very, very slimy, even for somebody like you, because we all know you don't give a damn about Black Chicago, especially for people on the west side. Because hey, remember, we've talked about you in Cata Trust, a black woman who lived on the west side. And what did you do on the west side of Chicago? Let's talk about it.
Well, we had all been aware of the migrant crisis, but not as prolific about it until they, again, when you start talking about taking away people's spaces and places, that kind of changes the narrative of things. And when you talk about taking one of the crown jewels in the Austin community, and this is a place where our mayor, Brandon Johnson, lives, or says he lives, let me put it that way.
And don't forget, she had this to say.
We got a phone call from our alderman letting us know that Amerson Park, which is the park where my children grew up playing football, my husband coached football and baseball at that park. We got a call saying that park was going to be taken away from the community and used as a migrant shelter. And we immediately got on the phone. We started calling the people in the community. We called all of our elected officials. We called past and former players, coaches, parents. And we, we're like, hey, listen, they're trying to take our park away. We're going to have to rally and pull ourselves together and try to see if we can prevent this from happening.
And let's go back to the city council meetings where one of these sisters, I believe from the Nation of Islam, begged you to remember your blackness.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to say good afternoon to the city council members, the media over there, and to my brother, Mayor Brandon Johnson, who we fought on some fronts together. And all those fronts we fought on together when I was with SEIU or anything else out there in the street, Brother Brandon, you have always been on the right side of history. That's why I campaigned for you, and that's why I voted for you. That's why I encouraged others to vote for you, because I knew and I felt in my heart you would be on the right side of history. And that meant including your people, descendants of enslaved Africans. Brother, you got to stop the buses from coming in. You just got to stop the buses coming in because it's hurting your people. I'm talking about descendants of enslaved Africans. We're hurting.
And what about the people's alderman, George Blakemore?
The black people have issues because you have poor black leadership. And Reverend Wu got somebody up here praying for us. Just pray your way off this plantation. Pray your way into reparation. This is disgraceful. No boycott, no black, empty seats of black people. When it was packed with these illegal immigrants and packed with these white Jews and white Arabs. Where are the black people?
You see, Brandon, all it is that you love black people, you love the black community. Well, then why do you have all of your adversaries calling you out for being anti-black? Because remember, you're trying to get the migrants this.
As everyone in this room knows, we have a governor, the state of Texas, that is determined to create chaos.
While speaking at a public safety event, Mayor Brandon Johnson was asked about additional funding for Chicago's migrant crisis.
We anticipate that the governor of Texas will continue his tirade against this country.
WGN has confirmed the mayor now plans to ask City Council for $70 million in funding. The mayor anticipates an influx of new arrivals as the Democratic National Convention nears.
Part of my budget structure, we put together some reserves in the event of an expedited flow of more migrants.
That's right, an additional $70 million in funding. What are you trying to do for people in the black community? Not a goddamn thing. You see, you want to use Black Chicago to get you into office, right? Just like you want to use the case of Dexter Reed to pretty much show that you care, your police shouldn't be acting like that and doing X, Y, and Z. But we all know that you don't give a damn about nobody black. We know that. And this young black man also talked about it here.
I'm attacked by judges. For what reason, I don't know. I guess it's for speaking up for black people. That's the only thing I could think about. But we just received new representation in Brandon Johnson. I was like, yeah, we got a smart black man in the school board, all these little different things. I was like, yeah. But then I think about other things.
And the situation is that Brandon Johnson knows people are very disappointed in him. So let me use Dexter Reed to my advantage to pretty much show y'all that I'm for the people. But what you say come out your mouth and what you do is different. You see, the city of Chicago is experiencing some real tough times right now. You have on the south side of Chicago, I believe a brother said, almost 30 to 40% unemployment. You have a lot of schools in the black community in Chicago where students can't even pass basic math tests, basic math exams. You have so many problems going on in the city of Chicago, especially in black areas. And we're not seeing anything the mayor is trying to do to alleviate some of the tensions or the pressures on the black community in Chicago. Instead, we don't even know what's going on with the budget. We don't know how much you're spending. We don't know why you're trying to hide the money you're spending on the websites. You're getting sued by TV stations out there, but you don't want to do anything for the people that have put you into office, into power. Now it's all about a progressive agenda and helping migrants and helping everything else, and then spending over the budget where none of that money is going towards the residents of your city, especially the black residents that dominate the city of Chicago. But here's a good opportunity for you to go head on and basically use a violent death of a black man to attach yourself to something like that, when we know damn well you have not been doing anything for black Chicago since your ass been the mayor. And I'm gonna tell you it's sick, and y'all need to continue to keep calling the guy out. Because why? These sorts of hypocrisies in black America must be held to task. Because when black people do something, when you're voting for somebody or you're trying to get somebody in office, you should be getting what you're paying for. Cata Trust talked about it. She said that, hey, she donated to his platform. She helped campaign for him. And this is the thanks that she got. So we need to make it hard for them instead of coming up and just talking about how much they're a black man, they love the black community. What are they doing? And start running away from that kind of black and brown narrative. No, what are you gonna do for the black community that actually voted your ass in? Nothing so far. And the reason is because we gotta get them away from that talking point narrative, those talking point narratives, guys. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, City Jackson, back at it again with another episode of King Ganda. I'm out.